The new judge in YNW Melly's case might finally bring some hope for the rapper. Judge Fee, who's known for being one of the fairest and most balanced judges in Florida, is now handling the case. This could be a big deal for Melly, who many believe has been mistreated and dealt an unfair hand in the legal system so far. When Judge Fee started reading Melly's case file, he was reportedly shocked by what he saw. It was clear that something about the case didn't sit right with him. During the hearing, the judge made it clear that Melly needs to carefully decide who he wants on his legal team going forward. What really stood out was the judge's reaction when he realized just how long Melly has been in jail: 59 days and counting.
To repeat myself, Mr. Devins has to make an informed decision about who he wants as lawyers. He's now been sitting in our jail for 2,159 days. So, how long would you like to be able to make that decision?
I can't determine when the investigation will be over. That's up to the Broward Sheriff's Office, but I can, as I said, I'm just asking for a week, and then I'm asking for at least a day or two.
You can decide by tomorrow. I've also...
The court is now pressing prosecutors to explain why YNW Melly hasn't been convicted yet, especially since he's been sitting in jail for a shocking 21 to 61 days. The judge couldn't believe how long Melly has been locked up without a resolution, and things are only getting messier. Prosecutors are now investigating one of Melly's lawyers, which is causing even more delays in the case. But this is telling us more about the disconnect between how things are happening in the prison system and how they happen in prison. And so the judge is clearly frustrated, questioning if it's fair to keep Melly in jail any longer under these circumstances. One of Melly's attorneys, Raven Liberty, is accused of witness tampering, but here's the catch. No one knows if this investigation is even real. Many believe the prosecution might be lying to the judge just to stall the case further. If that's true, it's illegal, and it's also incredibly unfair to Melly. During the hearing, one of Melly's defense attorneys stood up and told the judge exactly why this situation proves Melly should be released. They argued that keeping him in jail while the prosecution plays games is wrong. On top of that, they revealed Melly's poor treatment in jail. He's been denied phone calls and access to his own mail. Even Melly's mother has spoken out, saying her son has been treated unfairly for far too long. If a case happens in the near future, you will be scared the same way you were before, the judge declared, speaking in full defendant notes. You will be scared to death, saying you have no idea how much pain and loss, let alone pressure. For more than 2160 days, YNW Melly has been locked in jail, facing conditions that no one should have to endure. Even convicted inmates are allowed to use the phone, send letters, and receive mail from loved ones, but not Melly. According to his mother, Jamie King, the jail is withholding his mail, and he hasn't been allowed to stay in touch with the outside world. Jamie says this has left her heartbroken. It's devastating as a mother to know my son is being treated like this. He's scared for his life and I feel completely helpless, she shared. Melly has opened up about how much this has affected him both emotionally and mentally. For Jamie, hearing her son's pain and fear is unbearable. She didn't hold back when calling out the Broward Sheriff's Office, saying they're making up their own rules and need to be investigated. Jamie explained that even after Melly's legal team brought these issues to court, nothing changed. The jail continues to ignore the basic rights of inmates, leaving Jamie and her family feeling powerless. In a major development in YNW Melly's case, his attorney brought forward evidence from the first trial, arguing that Melly was nowhere near the crime scene when it happened. The proof? Text messages Melly sent to his ex-girlfriend in real time during the incident, which paint a very different picture of what was going on. According to the messages, Melly told her someone had just shot up the car and was chasing him. I asked if he was okay, and he said a car was following him, she shared. He said he was hiding and texted, I think they're still out here. When she asked about his friends Sack and Dewey, Melly replied, I don't know if they're still in the car. To back up this account, the defense also presented GPS data from Melly's phone, which showed him walking along a street and even crouching near a bush at the time of the crime. This evidence supports his claim that he was trying to escape danger, not involved in the shooting. What's more, prosecutors admitted that no handgun was ever found in connection to the case. Without a weapon or solid proof tying Melly to the crime, the defense argued that the accusations don't add up. This evidence could be a game changer as Melly's team fights to prove his innocence and push back against the charges. Charleston White recently stirred up a lot of controversy with his blunt comments about Melly's situation in jail. He made it clear that he believes Melly doesn't deserve privileges like phone calls or mail access. I'm glad he's in jail getting mistreated, White said. When you take someone's life, you don't have the right to complain about being mistreated. That's just how it is. These comments sparked a huge reaction, especially from people in the entertainment industry. Some supported his harsh stance, while others criticized him for being insensitive. At the same time, Melly's struggles in jail have been gaining sympathy, particularly because of how much they've affected his mother. Even Charleston White, despite his tough words, acknowledged the pain Melly's mom is going through. "She's real, bro. She's stressed out. I met her and she's a good woman," he said. "I reached out to her because I know what it's like." A 6-page evidence file has recently been presented, outlining why YNW Melly should not be released from jail. The file discusses some serious new charges that Melly and his associate YNW Bortland are now facing. These charges, which have been covered by local news, include witness tampering, directing criminal activities, conspiracy, and unlawful use of a communication device. Some of these charges are so serious that they could result in life sentences. The new charges stem from the discovery that Melly and Bortland allegedly manipulated witnesses during the initial trial. This included using coded language to prevent Melly's ex-girlfriend from testifying against him. In fact, the father of one of the people involved, Juvie, spoke out about how the two men were reportedly pressuring witnesses and controlling their testimony. Melly and his co-defendant, Jamel Demons, YNW Melly, along with Cortland Henry, YNW Bortland, are now facing charges related to witness tampering. Prosecutors claim that despite Melly not being allowed to use the phone, he found ways to continue directing these activities, which raises serious concerns. Things are getting even more intense in YNW Melly's case. Authorities have uncovered some shocking evidence showing how Melly and his associate, YNW Bortland, went to extreme lengths to try and stop witnesses from testifying. They weren't just making phone calls, they were passing secret notes and using code words to convince people, like Mariah and her mom, not to speak up in court. One of the codes they used was the letter R, making it clear they were trying to hide their true intentions. The situation took a darker turn when federal agents raided Bortland's home. Inside, they found strange documents hidden in a suitcase in a closet. Among the papers, there was a detailed drawing of the jurors from Melly's initial trial. It included descriptions of what they looked like and exactly where they were sitting in the courtroom. This raised big red flags about potential witness tampering and intimidation. The notes and drawings were filed into the Broward County Clerk's office, and it's clear that Bortland was deeply involved in these efforts to manipulate the trial. On top of that, Bortland was arrested on a warrant for witness tampering and booked into a Miami jail on Monday night. The situation surrounding YNW Melly and his associate Cortland Henry, YNW Bortland, just got even more serious. A new warrant reveals that Bortland, along with others, was allegedly trying to convince someone to withhold testimony during Melly's trial. This happened between 2023 and July 22, 2023, right around the time of Melly's jury trial. Jury selection for Melly's trial started in mid-April, and on July 22nd, a judge declared a mistrial. And on July 22nd, a judge declared a mistrial. So who should be declared a mistrial? That same day, Bortland is accused of tampering with a witness. What makes this even worse is that jurors are supposed to remain anonymous during the trial process. So having detailed information about them, as Bortland is accused of doing, is a big violation of the law. DJ Academics, a popular commentator, couldn't believe how careless Bortland was. "How the heck are you gonna have a notebook with the jurors' details in your house?" he said. "It's like committing a crime and having the surveillance tape right there. It's just sloppy." DJ Academics couldn't believe how careless YNW Bortland was, saying, "Come on, bro, it's like robbing a house and having the surveillance footage right in your DVD player." He was shocked that Bortland would be so sloppy. But as the retrial for YNW Melly went on for over a year, the prosecution kept digging deeper into his life, uncovering more about his past. One of the things they found was that Melly had been close to the rapper King Von before he tragically passed away. A member of O Block, the crew Von was part of, revealed that Melly had shared some personal struggles with Von. Melly confided in him about a situation where two of his best friends, Zach Jur and Juvie, were allegedly turning on him over money. Melly said his friends were trying to extort him, but he didn't come out and say it directly. Instead, he explained how one of them got upset with him after a post he made, hinting that there was some kind of tension. Things are getting more complicated in YNW Melly's case. Melly and Bortland were trying to make money through their registered business YNW by selling merchandise and running promotions. They had a plan to split the money 4 ways, with each of them getting 25%, but there was a problem. Melly and Bortland soon realized that Zach Jer and Juvie weren't doing any work, yet they still expected their share. That's when things started to fall apart. If you know anything about King Von and his street smarts, you might have an idea of what he would have told Melly to do. King Von was always protective of his friends, and Melly might have looked to him for advice on handling situations like this. But as the case unfolds, things get even darker. On Melly's phone, investigators found a message he sent just hours after the crime. Someone from the PZ Gambino account asked Melly if he was okay, and his reply was chilling. "I did that," followed by a smiley face emoji. This message was sent on October 26, 2018 at 4:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The plot thickens in YNW Melly's case as investigators uncovered a shocking video from Facebook Live filmed just 6 hours after the crime. The video, found on Melly's phone, showed him and Bortland seemingly calm and positive despite the tragedy that had just unfolded. In the video, Melly says, "Regardless of what happened, I'm still out here being positive." It's surprising considering the gravity of the situation. The lead prosecutor, aware of Melly's emotional reaction to the loss of his two best friends, dug deeper into the physical evidence. This included examining the Jeep they were driving during the crime. Sergeant Williams, who testified in the trial, made a key point: this couldn't have been a drive-by shooting. He stated that the shooter must have been sitting in the back left seat. The evidence, including the bullet trajectories, backed up this claim. During the trial, Sergeant Williams was asked more questions to clarify the situation. He confirmed there were 3 rounds fired inside the car, and they were certain that the shots didn't come from outside the vehicle. All the evidence pointed to the back left seat where the shots had been fired. This raised even more questions about what really happened that day. The question came up during the trial: could there have been 2 people in the car when the shots were fired? Sergeant Williams answered with a clear no. He explained that based on the evidence, it couldn't have been a drive-by. Instead, the shooting had to have come from inside the car, specifically from the back left seat. He even showed a detailed picture of the crime scene to back up his claim. Most of the rounds came from a stationary position, except for one that showed some movement. Then Juvie's mother took the stand, and she had important information. She confirmed where the people in the Jeep were sitting. She said her son, Christopher Thomas, got into the back seat on the right side. When asked about the person in the back left seat, she identified Dim Melly, saying that's the defendant, Jamal Demons. This was a big moment in the trial, as it matched what Sergeant Williams had said about the seating and the shooting position. With this new testimony, things are starting to make more sense. But here's the big question: does this solidify the idea that the shooting happened from inside the car, or do you think there's still something missing? Drop your thoughts below and let's discuss.